All right, guys. Andrew Tate versus Chase DeMoor. Gotta say, it was pretty embarrassing, if I'm being honest. There was a lot of aura on Andrew Tate's part that was lost. I was not impressed by his performance at all. This is coming from someone who really expected Andrew Tate to have a blowout win, which he did not. He almost had a blowout loss. I want to show the highlights of the fight real quick, just so we can see it together, what actually happened in case you didn't watch the fight. It was not very eventful. It kind of reminded me of Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. If you know what I mean, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about in the highlight video. But I'm going to try to watch this highlight video so y'all going to watch it with me, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Let's just say this. When I found out about this fight, I didn't know about Chase DeMoor at all. And I did my research on Chase and watched some of his fights, and I was extremely unimpressed. And I thought he was a horrible fighter, horrible technique, just big and strong. His knockouts were just sloppy haymakers and a standing 10 count where they called it. But I've seen a lot of Andrew Tate's fights, and I know that at one time Andrew Tate was really good. His technique, his speed, his reaction time was really good. And I was expecting Andrew to come out here and have a blowout and just knock him out, TKO him, something. Show a big gap of skill between him and this younger guy. But he absolutely did not. I don't know if it's just because he's been out the game that long, or if he's not really that hungry, or maybe it's just age. I don't know. But I was really let down by Andrew Tate's performance. I thought it was really embarrassing. And I'm going to go through a post or two. One post I really like, and then a highlight of the fight that we're about to watch right now. So let's go ahead and watch the highlight video of the fight. Andrew versus Chase fight highlights. Chase is obviously a little bit bigger. Andrew working the body. Chase just staying at range, waving his left hand. Andrew rushed in a little bit in the beginning, and a lot of clinch work in here. Landed a right hand right there. Wasn't really powerful. Andrew went down. Kind of reminded me of the Jake Paul fight. Andrew went down. Clean uppercut by Chase. Kind of in the clinch. Andrew's rocked a little bit. Just swinging in the pocket, trying to get him out of there. And Chase DeMoor got the decision. And I honestly thought it was going to be a draw. I don't remember exactly what the judges' numbers were. But there for a second, I actually thought it was going to be a draw. But it wasn't. Chase won. And I wasn't upset Chase won. I wasn't surprised Chase won. The reality of this is that I think Chase is a real shit fighter. I think his technique is horrible. I don't think he's good at all. And for Andrew to come out there and make Chase look good, I mean, hell, Andrew made Chase DeMoor look like a decent boxer in this fight, but he's not. He's horrible. I mean, I after watching the Jake Paul-Anthony Joshua fight, I felt good saying that Andrew was going to beat Chase, and I thought that it'd be like a really big deal to have Jake Paul fight Chase DeMoor. I was getting myself hyped up for that because in my mind, Chase had already lost to Andrew because Andrew has all that experience and skill, and he's been there for a long time, 80 pro fights. So I had already written Chase off in my mind. So I was already preparing myself to make a video that I wanted to see Jake Paul versus Chase DeMoor. I thought that'd be a great fight because I think Jake Paul would sleep Chase DeMoor before 3 rounds. Round 1 or 2, I think Jake Paul would absolutely sleep Chase DeMoor. And now I'm thinking I'd almost like to see Andrew Tate versus Jake Paul. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think Jake Paul would flatline Andrew Tate. I think Tate needs to call it. I feel like he'd come out because maybe he had been written off, or maybe he felt like he was behind, or maybe he really did have a little bit of that fire left in him. I don't really know. But he came out there. Maybe he did give it his all. It just ain't in him no more. And, you know, he showed up. He tried, and he failed. He didn't do very good. So I think he should call it there. I think he really should be done. I don't think he should try no more. You know, he's the CEO of Misfits Boxing. I think he should just stay that. I don't think he should be active anymore. But at the time yesterday, I was kind of interested in seeing Jake Paul versus Andrew Tate, but I don't really want to see that no more. I would kind of still be interested in seeing Jake Paul versus Chase DeMoor, but they're probably not going to give Chase DeMoor to Jake Paul after a loss. I don't know how that loss is going to affect him because that loss was like, we all knew he was going to lose. He knew he was going to lose. So I don't know how that's going to affect Jake's career, but I think that'd be a very interesting matchup between Jake Paul and Chase DeMoor. But as far as the Andrew Tate goes, he did have a post that I did actually really like this post from Andrew. I thought that everything was said correctly, and I kind of understand it. He made this post. It says, 99.9% of 40-year-old men with $700 million sit around with whores. I could have done the same and talked shit on the internet and took no risk and just lived easy. In my heart, I knew I'm too old. I knew I'd been out too long. That's why I had to do it, to face fear. I can't live scared. I have to know I faced it. I lost fair and square. Chase is a true champion, a warrior. I'm proud of him. He deserves that belt. That's a big thing to say coming from Andrew, and I think that shows a lot about Andrew's character and his heart to come out and say something like that, because I feel like he did his best, but it's a lot of ring rust, a lot of inactivity. Maybe his nerves were getting to him. I feel like even though he was very calm and collective and respectful during the fight build-up and all the press conferences, I feel like he knew there was a lot of pressure on him as the top G to go out there and smash Chase, and he didn't. And, it's just a lot of ring rust, and he's been out for a while, so you never know. Maybe it was, just stress, anxiety, reaction time, a lot of things, but I expected a lot different, and that's what we got. And like I said, I think Andrew should just stay out of the fighting. I think he came back. He faced his fear. I think that's a good thing he did. But yeah, people are saying he lost all of his aura. I guess in a way you can say that's true, but I still think he's a cool dude. He's respectful. He gives a lot of good advice. I'm not going to say everything he says is great, because I know he says some crazy off-the-wall things, so I don't want to agree to things I haven't heard. But, I think he's all around a solid dude. The way he handled, I think you can tell everything about a man, the way he handles the loss. So he handled the loss with respect. He confronted Chase after the fight. They had their words. They shook, and it was cool. So it was honestly just a nice experience to see Andrew come out of retirement and fight, but he's not that same man anymore, and I think he found that out. So I think he should just be big boss CEO and live life happily after. So not much more to say than that. That's all I got to say about Andrew Tate versus Chase DeMoor. So hope y'all enjoyed the fights. I hope y'all had a good weekend, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.